The alarm blared through Earth Defense Fleet headquarters at exactly 3:17 a.m. Captain Jae-woo Kim had been reviewing reports when the monitors lit up with urgent warnings. Something huge had just appeared in Earth's orbit. "What is it?" Jae-woo asked, his voice calm despite his racing heart. Officer Hana Park's fingers flew over her console. "Sir, it's a ship. Not one of ours, not from any Earth nation." The main screen showed a massive object unlike anything humans had built. It gleamed like crystal and seemed to shift colors as it moved. The ship was at least 3 times larger than the biggest space station humans had ever made. "Are they sending any messages?" Jae-woo asked, standing straighter. "Yes, sir," Hana said. Her eyes widened. "They're broadcasting on all channels, in all major Earth languages." The message played through the command center speakers. "Greetings, people of Earth. We are representatives of the Galactic Concordat. We come in peace to evaluate your world." Within an hour, all major world leaders had been informed. The alien ship remained in orbit, making no threatening moves. News of first contact spread across the globe, causing both excitement and fear. "They want to meet with Earth representatives," General Yu told Jae-woo. "You've been chosen to join the first contact team." By noon, a small group had been assembled. Ambassador Tae-ho Lee, Earth's top expert in languages, led the team. Dr. Soo-jin Choi, a brilliant physicist, was there to assess the aliens' technology. And Captain Jae-woo would represent Earth's defense forces. "Remember," Tae-ho told them as they prepared, "we are the face of humanity today. Our actions will shape how these beings see our entire species." The aliens had agreed to land in a large, empty field outside Seoul. Military forces kept curious crowds far back. News cameras from around the world recorded as the smaller craft broke away from the main ship and descended through the clouds. It landed without a sound. The craft was smooth and oval-shaped, with no visible engines or windows. For 5 long minutes, nothing happened. Then a section of the hull simply disappeared, revealing an opening. 3 beings walked out into Earth's sunlight. They looked almost human, but not quite. They stood about 7 feet tall, with slim bodies and light blue skin that seemed to have a metallic sheen. Their eyes were large and completely black. They had no hair, and their hands had 6 long fingers each. "Welcome to Earth," Tae-ho said, stepping forward with his hands held open to show he carried no weapons. The tallest alien bowed in what seemed like a copied human gesture. "I am Commander Do-yun," it said in perfect, unaccented English. "With Mere Science Officer Jin and Cultural Specialist Nari." The alien voice sounded musical, almost like singing. Jae-woo noticed that their mouths didn't match the words. They must be using some kind of translation device. "We are the Lenari," Do-yun continued. "We represent the Galactic Concordat, an alliance of spacefaring civilizations." "Why have you come to Earth now?" Tae-ho asked. "We have been watching your development," Nari explained. Her voice was higher, more melodic. "Your species is advancing very quickly. Our records show you are close to discovering faster-than-light travel." Soo-jin stepped forward. "That's still theoretical for us." "Not for long," Jin said. "We estimate you would achieve it within 5 years. According to Concordat rules, any species nearing this milestone must be evaluated before they join the galactic community." Jae-woo noticed the aliens seemed slightly uncomfortable. They kept shifting their weight and blinking their large eyes rapidly. "Is something wrong?" he asked. Do-yun hesitated before answering. "We have broken protocol by coming here. Standard procedure is to observe from a distance. Direct contact should only happen after a species has achieved their first faster-than-light journey." "Then why did you break your rules?" Tae-ho asked. "Your case is unusual," Nari explained. "Most species take centuries to advance from basic spaceflight to faster-than-light travel. You have done it in mere decades. Some members of the Concordat were concerned about your rapid progress." The meeting continued for another hour. The Lenari explained more about the Galactic Concordat. Over 2,000 different species, all living in relative peace, trading knowledge and resources. As the sun began to set, The aliens prepared to return to their main ship. "We will continue. Discussions tomorrow," Do-Yun said. "We have much to—" A loud alarm suddenly blared from inside their craft. Jin rushed back inside while the other two Lenari looked at each other with what seemed like concern. "Is there a problem?" Jae-woo asked. Jin emerged from the craft speaking rapidly to the others in their own language, a series of musical tones and clicks. Their calm demeanor had vanished. Finally, Do-Yun turned back to the humans. "We have a situation. Our ship's quantum resonance drive is experiencing unexpected interference." Soo-jin's scientific curiosity was instantly engaged. "What kind of interference?" "Something in your planet's magnetic field," Jin explained. "It's creating a cascade failure in our main propulsion system." "Can you fix it?" Taeho asked. "Not quickly," Do-Yun admitted. "We may need to remain on your planet longer than planned." The humans exchanged looks. What had started as a brief first contact was becoming something more complicated. 3 days later, the situation became clear. The Lenari called an emergency meeting with Earth's leaders. "We cannot leave," Do-Yun announced. To the shocked room, "Our quantum fold drives cannot function within Earth's unique electromagnetic environment. In all our explorations of 2,134 civilizations, we have never encountered this phenomenon." Soo-jin had been working with Jin to understand the problem. She stood to explain to the other humans. "The Lenari ships use a technology that folds space-time," she said. "But something about Earth's specific combination of magnetic fields, atmospheric composition, and possibly other factors we don't yet understand, causes their technology to fail. Their main ship cannot leave orbit, and any craft that enters our atmosphere becomes trapped here." "How long will you need to stay?" one world leader asked. The Lenari looked at each other before Nari answered. "We do not know. This is unprecedented. It may take months or years to develop a solution." A murmur ran through the room as the implications sank in. The aliens who had broken protocol to visit Earth were now stranded here indefinitely. "What happens now?" Jae-woo asked. Do-Yun's large black eyes fixed on him. "Now, Captain Kim, our species must learn to coexist while we search for a way home. And you must prepare for the consequences of early contact with the wider galaxy." As the meeting ended, Jae-woo looked out the window at the gleaming alien craft sitting in the field. The sun was setting behind it, casting long shadows across the ground. Earth's first visitors from the stars had arrived, and now they couldn't leave. 3 months passed since the Lenari ships became stuck on Earth. The main ship still orbited above, but most of the aliens now lived in large dome structures built outside major cities. The biggest dome, called Star Dome, stood on empty land, near Seoul. Captain Jae-woo walked through the entrance of Star Dome, nodding to the guards. Both humans and Lenari kept watch at all doors. After the first month, world leaders had agreed that the aliens needed places to live while they worked. On getting home, "Captain Kim," a voice called. It was Jin, the Lenari scientist. "We have made progress today." Jae-woo followed Jin to the research center in the middle of the dome. Inside, Dr. Soo-jin Choi stood looking at screens filled with numbers and charts. 3 other Lenari worked nearby. "What kind of progress?" Jae-woo asked. Soo-jin turned and pushed her glasses up. She looked tired, but excited. "We have finally figured out why their ships don't work here. It's not just the magnetic field," Jin explained. "Earth has a unique quantum signature that affects our technology." Soo-jin tried to explain in simple terms. "Everything is made of tiny, tiny parts. The way these parts act on Earth is different from other planets the Lenari have visited." "Can you fix it?" Jae-woo asked. Jin made a gesture that Jae-woo had learned meant uncertainty. "Not easily. We would need to change how our ships work at a very basic level." Outside the research center, life in Stardom had fallen into a routine. About 200 Lenari lived there, along with 50 humans who worked as helpers, researchers, and security. The dome had living spaces, food areas, and meeting rooms. "Captain, Ambassador Lee wants to see you," said a voice on Jae-woo's radio. He found Tae-ho in a meeting room talking with Nari, the Linari cultural specialist. They had been working together to help both species understand each other better. "Ah, Jae-woo," Tae-ho said. "Please sit. We have a new problem." Nari's metallic blue skin caught the light as she turned to him. "Some of my people are changing." "Changing how?" Jae-woo asked. "The younger Linari are spending too much time with humans," she said. "They are beginning to act differently, more emotional, less controlled." Tae-ho explained further. "The Linari culture values calm and logic, but our human emotions seem to be rubbing off on the younger aliens." Jae-woo had noticed this himself. Some of the Linari now used hand gestures when they talked, like humans did. Others had started wearing colorful clothes instead of their plain uniforms. "Is this bad?" he asked. "It creates tension," Nari said. "The older Linari think we are losing our ways. They worry we will forget who we are if we stay too long." After the meeting, Jae-woo walked through Stardom, looking more closely at the aliens. He saw a young Linari laughing with a human guard, actually laughing out loud. When they had first arrived, the Linari rarely showed any emotion. That evening, he was invited to eat with Commander Do-yoon. The Linari leader had a private room with simple furniture and no decorations. Do-yoon had prepared food for both of them, earth vegetables for Jae-woo and strange blue cubes for himself. "How are you finding life on Earth?" Jae-woo asked as they ate. Do-yoon was quiet for a moment. "Difficult. Your world is very loud." "Loud? You mean noisy? Not just in sound, in everything. Humans feel so much so strongly. You argue, you laugh, you cry. It is overwhelming for us." Jae-woo nodded slowly. "I never thought about it that way." Linari learned from childhood to keep emotions inside, Do-yoon explained. "We feel them, but we do not show them. It is considered polite, proper. But the younger Linari are starting to show emotions more," Jae-woo said. Do-yoon's face showed a rare frown. "Yes. Some think Earth's influence is harmful, others find it freeing." The next day, Jae-woo visited the place where young Linari and humans spent time together. They called it the Mix Zone. Here they taught each other games, music, and stories. A young Linari named Bin was trying to play a human guitar. His 6-fingered hands made different chords than a human could make. The sound was strange but beautiful. "Our elders don't understand," Bin told Jae-woo. "On our ships, we follow strict rules. Everything is organized. Here we can try new things." Meanwhile, Ambassador Tae-ho was facing growing pressure from Earth's governments. World leaders wanted to know when the Linari would leave. Some worried about having aliens stay too long. Others saw chances to get advanced technology. "We cannot simply give you our most advanced science," Nari explained during a big meeting at the United Nations. "But we can share knowledge that will help Earth." Many long meetings later, they made an agreement called the Soul Accords. The Linari would share medical knowledge, better energy technology, and ways to grow more food. In return, Earth would give them safe places to live and resources to work on their ships. "It is a fair trade," Tae-ho told Jae-woo afterward. But some countries wanted more. They wanted the Linari's space travel technology. "That would be like giving guns to children," Do-yoon had said during one tense meeting. "No offense intended, but your species is not ready for such power." Some humans were angry about this. Others understood the aliens' concerns. 6 months after the Linari arrived, Stardome had changed. Signs in both human languages and Linari, symbols marked the paths. Humans and aliens worked together in labs, kitchens, and gardens. One evening, Jae-woo found Nari alone, looking at the sunset through the dome's clear wall. "Beautiful, isn't it?" he said. "Yes," she replied, then added, "We have no word for sunset in our language. Our homeworld has 3 suns. It is never truly dark there. Do you miss it?" Nari turned to him. For the first time, he saw clear emotion on her face, sadness mixed with something else. "I miss my home," she said softly. "But I have learned much here. Your people face each problem with such creativity. You never give up." We're stubborn, Jae-woo smiled. Yes, stubborn. It is a quality the Lenari lack. We follow rules. We accept what cannot be changed. Humans never accept limitations. As they watched the sun disappear behind distant mountains, Jae-woo thought about her words. The Lenari had the knowledge of 1,000 worlds. Humans had only their own planet. But maybe Earth's challenges had made humans stronger in ways the aliens couldn't understand. We will find a way to help you get home, he promised. Perhaps, Nari said, or perhaps you will change us more than we change you. As stars appeared in the darkening sky, both human and alien looked up at the same night sky, wondering what the next months would bring. 1 year had passed since the Lenari ships first appeared in Earth's sky. The aliens had become a common sight in many cities. Their blue skin and tall bodies no longer caused people to stop and stare. News shows no longer talked about the alien situation every day. In Stardome, Dr. Soo-jin Choi walked quickly through the main hall. She had not slept much in 3 days, but her eyes were bright with excitement. She pushed open the door to the main meeting room where Captain Jae-woo, Ambassador Tae-ho, and Commander Do-yoon were talking. I have an idea, Soo-jin announced without saying hello. We've been thinking about this all wrong. The 3 leaders stopped their conversation and turned to her. What do you mean? Jae-woo asked. Soo-jin put her tablet on the table. It showed complex drawings and numbers. For a year, we've been trying to make the Lenari ships work in Earth's environment. That's the wrong approach. Do-yoon tilted his head. What is the right approach, Dr. Choi? Instead of changing your ships to work in our environment, we need to change the environment around your ships. The room was quiet as everyone thought about her words. Explain, said Tae-ho. Soo-jin took a deep breath. We create a bubble around each Lenari ship. Inside the bubble, we make conditions like deep space. The ship's drives would work inside the bubble even while on Earth. Do-yoon's large black eyes widened. Is such a thing possible? Creating a controlled space environment on a planet? I think so, Soo-jin said. It's just a theory right now, but I believe we can build what I call a quantum bubble generator. Jae-woo looked at the drawings on the tablet. How long would it take to build? Months at least, maybe longer. We would need help from the Lenari engineers and Earth's best scientists. Commander Do-yoon was quiet for a long time. Finally, he said, This idea, it is not something the Lenari would have considered. We would have accepted that we could not leave until we built new ships outside Earth's atmosphere. That's the difference between our species, Jae-woo said with a small smile. Humans don't easily accept no for an answer. The next day, a team was formed. Soo-jin would lead the human scientists. Jin would lead the Lenari engineers. They called their work Operation Homeward. At first, progress was slow. The humans and Lenari had different ways of solving problems. The humans wanted to try new ideas quickly. The Lenari wanted to think and plan carefully before building anything. This will never work if you rush, Jin told Soo-jin during one heated meeting. And we'll all grow old before anything gets built if we keep talking instead of doing, Soo-jin replied. 2 months into the project, a young human engineer named Min-ho Kang joined the team. He was quiet and didn't talk much in big meetings. But one day, as Soo-jin was explaining their power problems, Min-ho raised his hand. What if we use Earth's magnetic field as the power source? And he asked. Everyone looked at him. The very thing that causes the problem could help fix it, Min-ho explained. Earth's magnetic field is powerful. If we build special collectors, we could use that energy to power the quantum bubble generators. Jin's blue face showed surprise. That is elegant. Using the problem as the solution. Work on the quantum bubble generators moved faster after that. Teams in Stardome worked day and night. Other scientists from around the world sent ideas and help. 4 months later, they were ready for the first test. A small Lenari shuttle sat in an open field. Around it, a ring of tall metal towers formed a circle. Each tower had strange-looking equipment on top. Cables ran from the towers to a control center where Soo-jin, Min-ho, Jin, and the others watched screens and readouts. Powering up, Soo-jin said. She pressed a button on her control panel. The towers began to hum. The air around the shuttle seemed to shimmer, like the air above hot pavement on a summer day. Quantum field forming, Jin reported, watching his screen. Field strength at 30%, 60%, 85%. The shuttle was now inside what looked like a giant soap bubble. The bubble's surface reflected rainbow colors. Field stable at 95%, Jin said. Beginning drive test. Inside the bubble, the shuttle's engines lit up. This was the moment of truth. If Sujin's idea worked, the shuttle should be able to use its quantum drive inside the bubble. For 3 seconds, everything seemed perfect. Then alarms started to sound. The bubble flickered and collapsed. The shuttle's engines shut down. What happened? Jae-woo asked. Min-ho checked the data on his screen. The bubble was stable for exactly 3.7 seconds before it failed. That's progress. Last time we couldn't even form a complete bubble. They ran the test again the next day. This time, the bubble stayed stable for 15 seconds before collapsing. Each test gets better, Sujin told Commander Do-yoon. We're learning from every failure. Do-yoon watched the human team as they excitedly discussed the next test. This is why we find your species so puzzling, he said to Jae-woo. Where other species accept limitations, you see them as puzzles to be solved. By the 20th test, the bubble stayed stable for over an hour. The shuttle inside was able to lift off the ground and hover, using its advanced drives that had not worked on Earth before. We're getting close, Sujin told everyone. Soon we'll be able to maintain the bubble long enough for the ships to leave Earth's atmosphere. While the scientists worked on the bubble technology, Ambassador Tae-ho faced a new problem. Some of the Lenari, especially younger ones, had told him they wanted to stay on Earth. Is this possible? Tae-ho asked Nari during a private meeting. Would the Concordat allow some Lenari to remain here? Nari's expression was troubled. It has never happened before. No Concordat species has ever chosen to live permanently on a non-member world. But Earth is different, isn't it? Tae-ho said. That's why your ships can't leave. Maybe that's also why some of your people feel at home here. Nari looked out the window at a group of young Lenari playing a human game with some children. They were laughing and running. We have never encountered a species that embraces contradiction like yours, she said softly. It is both your greatest weakness and your most profound strength. Back at the test field, the team was preparing for what they hoped would be the final test before using the technology on the main Lenari ship in orbit. If this works, Sujin told Min-ho, we'll have solved a problem that the most advanced species in the galaxy couldn't figure out. Min-ho smiled as he checked the equipment one last time. Not bad for a primitive planet, right? The towers hummed to life. The bubble formed around the shuttle, stronger and clearer than ever before. Field stable at 100%, Jin announced. Beginning full power test. The shuttle's engines glowed brightly. It rose smoothly inside the bubble, hovering 10 feet above the ground. All systems normal, reported the Lenari pilot inside. Drive functioning. At full capacity, everyone in the control room began to cheer and hug each other. Even the usually calm Lenari engineers showed excitement. You did it, Commander Do-yoon said to Sujin. You found a way. Sujin shook her head. We did it together. Human creativity and Lenari knowledge. Neither of us could have done it alone. That night, as news of the successful test spread, Jae-woo stood outside Stardome looking up at the stars. Soon, many of the Lenari would return to those stars, but Earth would never be the same again, and neither would the galaxy. 18 months after the Lenari first arrived on Earth, the day of departure had finally come. The quantum bubble technology had been perfected after hundreds of tests. Today, the main Lenari ship would attempt to leave Earth's orbit. People all over the world watched on screens and phones. News teams had set up cameras around Stardome and at the launch field. This was one of the biggest events in human history. Captain Jae-woo stood with Ambassador Tae-ho, watching as the last preparations were made. Large quantum bubble generators had been installed on the Lenari shuttles that would fly up to the main ship in orbit. It doesn't seem real, Jae-woo said. After all this time, they're finally leaving. Tae-ho nodded. Not all of them, though. This was true. After many talks between Earth leaders and the Lenari Council, An agreement had been reached. 57 Lenari had asked to stay on Earth. They would form the first alien embassy on the planet. In return, a group of humans would go with the Lenari to meet the Galactic Concordat. Dr. Sujin Choi walked up to them, looking tired but happy. The final checks are complete. The bubble generators are ready. How do you feel? Jae-woo asked her. Your idea made all this possible. Sujin smiled. I just had the idea. It took all of us to make it work. Behind them, Minho was checking a screen one last time. The young engineer had become a key part of the team. His suggestion to use Earth's magnetic field as a power source had solved their biggest problem. Commander Do-yeon approached the group. The tall, blue-skinned alien seemed different than when he had first arrived on Earth. He stood less stiffly. His face showed more expression. My friends, Do-yeon said, I cannot thank you enough for what you have done. We didn't want you to be stuck here forever, Tae-woo said with a smile. Some of us are choosing to stay, Do-yeon reminded him. Your world has changed us in ways we did not expect. An hour later, everyone gathered at the launch field for the farewell ceremony. World leaders stood with Lenari council members. News cameras pointed at the stage where Commander Do-yeon prepared to speak. People of Earth, he began, his musical voice carried by speakers. We came here to evaluate whether your species was ready for the stars. We found a species that, instead of being intimidated by the impossible, simply refuses to accept it. The crowd was silent, listening carefully. The Concordat will need to reconsider many of its assumptions about younger species, Do-yeon continued. You have taught us that different does not mean less advanced. It simply means different. After the speech, it was time for the real goodbyes. The Lenari who were staying on Earth stood to one side. They wore colorful clothes, some in human styles. They would remain in Stardom, which would become the first alien embassy on Earth. The humans who would travel to the Concordat stood with their bags. Captain Jae-woo was among them. He had been chosen to lead the human delegation. 20 scientists, diplomats and military personnel would represent Earth to the galaxy. Sujin hugged Jae-woo tightly. I can't believe you're going and I'm staying. Someone needs to keep working on the bubble technology, he said, and you're the best person for that job. Are you nervous? She asked. About traveling across the galaxy to meet an alliance of alien civilizations who never expected to see humans for another century? Jae-woo smiled. Not really. They're the ones who should be nervous. Sujin laughed. Just don't start any interstellar wars, please. Tae-ho approached them. He handed Jae-woo a small data device. This contains messages from Earth's leaders to the Concordat. And, he added with a smile, a few Korean movies and music. Don't forget where you come from. As the Lenari and human travelers boarded the shuttles, Nari stood with the Lenari who were staying. She had chosen to remain as the official Lenari representative to Earth. Will the Concordat be angry that some of your people are staying? Tae-ho asked her. Perhaps, Nari said, but they cannot argue with personal choice. And after they see what humans have accomplished with the quantum bubble technology, they will understand why some of us find your species so fascinating. The shuttles rose into the air, surrounded by the shimmering quantum bubbles. They grew smaller and smaller, until they were just tiny points of light in the sky. In space, the shuttles approached the main Lenari ship. It had been orbiting Earth for 18 months, unable to use its drives to return home. Now, with the bubble generators installed, it could finally leave. On board one shuttle, Jae-woo looked out the window at Earth below. The blue planet seemed so peaceful from space. He wondered what the other worlds of the Concordat would look like. We are receiving a message from the Concordat High Council, announced the Lenari pilot. The message appeared on a screen. Protocol was established for a reason. The species that broke it must accept responsibility for the consequences. Is that a threat? Jae-woo asked, concerned. The Lenari pilot made a gesture that meant, not exactly. It is a reminder, he explained. The Concordat does not like change. Your species represents great change, The shuttles docked with the main ship. After everyone was aboard, the giant quantum bubble generators were activated. The massive ship was soon surrounded by a bubble much larger than any they had tested on Earth. Preparing for departure, came the announcement over the ship's speakers. Jay Wu and the other humans gathered at viewing windows. They would be the first humans to travel faster than light, the first to see other star systems. "Quantum drive activating," said the ship's captain. The stars outside the window began to shift and stretch. The bubble around the ship glowed with rainbow colors. Back on Earth, scientists detected something unexpected. The quantum bubble technology had created a new kind of space-time distortion that their instruments could track. They could actually see the path the Lenari ship was taking, through space. "This is amazing," Sujin told Minho as they watched the data come in. "The bubble is leaving a trace we can follow." "If we can track it," Minho said slowly. "Maybe someday we could follow it." Sujin looked at him with wide eyes as she realized what he meant. "You're thinking about building our own ships with bubble technology." Minho nodded. "The Lenari gave us the knowledge. We created the solution. Why stop now?" At that same moment, in deep space, the Lenari ship successfully made the jump to faster-than-light travel. Earth vanished behind them as they sped toward the heart of the galactic concordate. Jay Wu felt the slight pull as the ship accelerated to impossible speeds. He thought about what Sujin had said. "If this works, we'll have solved a problem that the most advanced species in the galaxy couldn't figure out." The Lenari had broken protocol by coming to Earth. Then humans had broken what was thought to be impossible by creating the quantum bubble technology. Neither species would ever be the same again, and the galaxy was about to meet humanity much sooner than it had planned.